Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. Super excited to be back. Glad you guys are with us. We are now live across all of our social media channels. Well, not Instagram, but anyway, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We are live. We are back. 2022 is here. Super excited to get into the show. We've been off for a few weeks, as you guys know. And we're gonna hop right into it. We're not gonna have any preamble. We're not gonna do any of that. But I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you out there that has been supporting the show, listening to the episodes over the holidays. We appreciate you, and we've got a lot to get to tonight. So excited to be here. If you're in the chat, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hop on over in the chat. Throw your questions and comments up there, and we will get to those throughout the show this evening. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas and M. I'm one of your hosts, Seth Bidoff. Joining me tonight, we have a full house, as you can see. We have Jacob Terrell, Earl Nieto, and joining us for the first time ever, and hopefully not the last. You guys know him, you love him, you've seen him out at Isotopes Park. We have Carlos Tenorio, a.k.a. Sombrero Man. Carlos, super excited to have you here, man. We've talked on a different podcast, you and I have, and so this is a lot of fun. We're going to get you here for our 2022 our 2022 kickoff show. We're super excited to have you here. For anyone that happens to not know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with United? And I read that you've got a new project coming out soon.
Yes. So my name's Carlos. I currently am a holy cow.
Hi, Carlos.
Can you believe it, guy? Hi, Earl. Can you believe it? I'm a senior this year. Holy cow! How about that? M for university. So I hate to break it to you guys, but you're stuck with me for at least a minimum of 2 years. I got a new project coming up. As you know, many people know around the area that read your guys' newsletters. May be familiar with Seek and Strike Collective, ran by Chris Walker, who's a great guy. Very knowledgeable about sports just in general. I learned a lot from Chris. I wrote an article called Under the Sombrero as I want to get into sports broadcasting myself. There goes Earl. We've lost him. But this February, I will be launching my own site called Under the Sombrero. I'm going to keep the name. It's going to be pretty much a fan blog. We'll say a fan blog. Really just me writing about my teams or, interesting sports stories that have come out, or crazy sports history that's out there, crazy trivia, maybe giving people who, like Chris, gave me an option to really write for the first time. So really write for the first time, whether it's a LAFC supporter, which, I'm an Earthquakes fan myself, so I'm not really fond of any LA. No Quakes. So, it's a new opportunity going into college. I plan on writing for the Daily Lobo there at the University of Mexico, which you think about is kind of a condescending name if you think about it, because it's more of a monthly now than it is a daily. So, it's fun. And, I pulled this out today because here's a blast from the past. Look at that. Look at that. The first article really written about me.
Jacob's going mobile.
Oh, look, there it is. Matching right there, baby. With me and PJ. What a blast from the past there. Taco Cabana. I remember buying these at Taco Cabana.
No, they were free.
That's where I met Bob. You know what,
God
Earl?
Bob.
At least we didn't just hire a coach that won 6 games in the USL Championship. I'm just you know what? Not Earl. Sorry, Tito. I looked at you, Earl.
It's okay. We give crap to Earl all the time about nonsense. So
it's what, Mr. Manning, please. Twice tonight already. One off air, one on air. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I'm a huge sports fan.
Oh, very cool. We're super excited to have you. You've gone from being a fan to you've capoed a few times. You're the PA announcer. You've got a lot going on, and I think I speak for all of us when I say you're more than welcome to come on the show anytime that you want. You're welcome. If you want to write for the website, whatever, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you chime in, because you are a big part of the fan base here. And that's, a lot of folks recognize you from the videos and from social media. And so, it's gotta be quite the journey for you to go from where we were 3 years ago to what you're doing now and where you're going here in the future.
Oh yeah, it is a huge, and you guys have seen it firsthand, really. Make you guys feel old for a second. But when the team was announced, I just finished 8th grade in 2018.
Oh my God!
How about that? I'm graduating this year. So there you go.
So it doesn't take that to make me feel old. It takes me staying up past 9:30 to make me feel old.
It is a beautiful kind of full circle thing. Being a fan. I've always loved sports growing up. Unfortunately, my sports teams have really never been too kind to me. I understand why all my family has high blood pressure now. But, it is beautiful. I've always wanted a professional team in Albuquerque. That was provided for us, and no matter. And be honest, I really didn't care much for soccer before the team was announced. But I hopped on the bandwagon, because it's local, it's New Mexico, and I love that. So it's beautiful being able to go out on the field to Capo. I will never join Liverpool. I am a staunch Arsenal supporter forever, unfortunately. But it is
okay.
It's
okay.
beautiful.
Seth has some liquids next to him that can help with that feeling.
I'm an Everton supporter, so I really have no room to say anything right now. But
Yeah, that's right. Aren't you an Everton supporter?
I am. I'm a huge Everton supporter.
The last time I was on the podcast with Seth, he was like, "We're getting a new stadium," and the stadium has yet to still be
Hey,
built.
they're constructing. It's under construction. They've been
So-
working on it.
So is it the same location on the docks there? In
Yeah, it's
Liverpool?
on the docks. Yeah,
That's nice.
They've been filling it in and getting it prepared and stuff like that, because it's going to be a pretty nice stadium once it's all said and done down there at Bramley-Moore Docks. So, but yeah, we've got a lot to get to tonight, guys. Let's get right into it. Carlos, I don't know if you've seen the show in the past, but what we do is we start off every show with a burning question for the guys here. And this week's question, again, we're brand new year. We've just gotten through the holidays. Jacob, we've kind of talked a bit about it a little bit prior to the holidays, and you had kind of had a wish list. So did you guys get what you wanted for Christmas this year?
I had a wish list. I don't
Yes.
remember this.
You in our group, you had a wish list of things that you wanted, particularly when it came to the club. So that's kind of what I'm getting. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
right. That's right.
That clears up a lot of
Okay.
stuff. So, well,
It's been a long holiday season, so I had forgot all about that. But yeah, Nico Brett was basically my ideal Christmas gift, and I think they announced it. What they announce it? Christmas? No,
Year's Day.
New Year's
right?
Day.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, Nico is New Year's Day.
So it was a week late, but I'll take it for sure.
So to answer your question, yes. And granted, the guy, the Christmas gift was actually given to me by this guy next to me, or wherever he's at on your screen, Mr. Sombrero Man. I get a message from some random kid saying, "Hey, this guy's gone."
Oh.
And I had to double check it, and he had to show me on Facebook and all this fun stuff. So yes, I got my Christmas gift. But hey, did you know your hair contains traces of gold?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Why is this guy here?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because you can't fire volunteer help.
Exactly.
I can mute you though. Remember, I can
Oh, yeah.
mute you
Reprimand.
Why can he mute me, but I can't mute anyone else?
because we don't trust you with that power, Earl.
I even have the power to do it, Earl.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold the front door.
No, so StreamYard has the ability for me to set someone like almost like an admin to like a chat room, and so
Or
it
if
only
Seth's
lets me
not
set,
here,
only
I
lets me do
can
one
sub
person.
in.
Yeah, and so Jacob can set up shows and all that kind of stuff, and so that's why So I just had to pick. I could only pick one of the two of you. So, Carlos, same question to you, man. Did you get what was on your Christmas list this year?
Man, this club is looking special. With the two leavings. I know Earl got. I think it was more of a Thanksgiving gift than anything when it happened, a late Thanksgiving gift. But
It was a Black Friday gift. It's all right.
Black Friday. It was one of the sales. We never got the chance to have Earl ask that question to Troy in the press conference. Which
That's true.
I know.
But
I'll text him right now. Hold on.
Bouncing off of Jacob, Nico Brett, what a huge signing for New Mexico United. We were really, I forgot who I was discussing this with, but having Devin Sandoval as your number one striker with Romeo Parks coming in or Brian Brown coming in, it wasn't really I felt like a recipe for success when you have these guys that are known for scoring. And yeah, there were other stuff around behind the scenes with Parks and Brown in particular, from what I understand. But Nico Brett, I think, is a huge signing, because now you got to worry about not only Amando Moreno and Chris Wehan scoring on you, but now you have Nico Brett. This club is quietly building one of the best rosters in the USL. There's no big signings. There's no big signing like last year. You had Corey Hertzog and Jack Blake on the free agents. You don't have any of the Mount Sheldon signings that Charleston just had. It's little small stuff that the new gaffer's putting together, and
I don't know.
So excited.
I think Nico's probably the biggest signing. He was thought to go back to Birmingham, was pretty. Everybody assumed, but then I don't know how he did it. But us being able to pull him is probably the biggest signing that I've seen anybody else make this offseason.
So, who's really been quiet, though, this offseason that kind of concerns me to a degree is Phoenix Rising with their signings. And that is a little concerning to me, in my opinion. What is brewing up over there? Of course, they have, he who shall not be named back on a 2-year deal. But
they re-signed a lot of their guys to multi-year deals, either prior to last season or before, or right as this season ended. So I don't think we're going to see like a big splashy signing out of them, but they may add some pieces here and there.
Solomon Asante, isn't he a free agent at the moment? I believe. I don't think he's under contract with Phoenix.
I checked as much as I can. You can't. They don't have access to a whole lot of this stuff, but from what I can tell, he's still signed.
Is he still signed?
I thought he was available as well, but from what I've been able to find, I think he is still a member of Phoenix Rising for now.
So to butt in real quick for the NM Ultras person who is chiming in, FEP.
I'll never forget that. What was it? The Loudon match that we came up with, FEP, or was it the Colorado Springs match?
I don't know. It's one of the ones that you were down there with us.
Yeah, I think it was Colorado Springs, because we were in a joyous mood after that one.
Probably.
So the thing about
spinning me around.
Oh yeah, that was the one time I was unprofessional.
The thing about El Paso, they announced a whole bunch of signings early on in the offseason, and so they haven't really done too much lately, but they did re-sign a lot of guys early on.
They re-signed guys, but no real new guys have come in. They brought in, I think, like 2 off the top of my head, if I can remember, and they're okay names, but I don't know. I'm kind of worried about El Paso, if I'm being completely honest, and not worried on our sake. I'm worried for their fans. So Jerry, I'm looking at you basically.
I can already see the memes on the USL Trash Talk page on Facebook of that soundbite by our good friend Jerry. But we
all love Jerry. Jerry's a good guy. Look, he invited us to a barbecue if we would have played them in the playoffs.
I'm pretty sure you guys
didn't invite Jacob though.
He doesn't like me. That's fine.
I told him to come up here and tailgate with us. He's one of the few El Paso fans that I know are decent to us. It's good banter with him. But my question with El Paso is, who do you get to replace Ketterer?
That's a big question, and it's one that that's one that they're going to have to address here in the coming months. And maybe they go out and they pick up a guy who didn't get a lot of playtime at MLS. Maybe they bring in a collegiate guy. Who knows? I mean, and that's one of the things about our league is that there are so many different avenues that players are going to be brought in from, whether it's collegiate, whether it's an intra-league transfer, whether it's MLS guy, maybe it's someone from an international club. There's any number of ways that we're going to see it happen. And so it's just really hard to sit down and say, okay, this is who they're targeting and this is who we think could come in when you've got hundreds of guys. And especially at this level here, we don't get the rumors like you see with Premier League or MLS and things like that. So we may not see who their starting keeper is, for another month or so.
A name that has been floating around in my mind is Arozarena from Tampa Bay. He didn't have the best showing in the cup game, but he has proven in the past that he's a good keeper. For any baseball fans that are on, his brother Randy Arozarena, Rookie of the Year with the Tampa Bay Rays, was it this year? I think it was. So it is. That's a name I think. Whether as a backup or as a starting, maybe he's a starter at Monterey Bay, but I feel like that's a name that should be kind of looked at this offseason as a possible either a starting keeper for some club like Monterey Bay or Oakland or even El Paso, because I feel like that would be an El Paso signing to try and turn him around. Or, does he go and be a backup keeper here in New Mexico? Is he a backup keeper in Colorado? It's very interesting with him.
Yeah, that's one of the few positions that we still have questions at for ourselves is who's our backup to Alex this coming season. We don't know Phil's contract status. We know Ben Bowie is still floating around out there. We don't know what the future holds for Will Palmquist. We have questions there as well. And I think we're going to, again, that's something that's going to be addressed here before too long, I think. But before we get too deep into the weeds on roster moves from around the league, I do want to touch on some news that came out over the holiday break while we were off air. And first thing I want to talk about is the U.S. Open Cup is finally returning for its 107th iteration. It's been gone for a couple of years due to COVID, as we all know. And the 2022 U.S. Open Cup is going to kick off here in just a matter of months. The first round will take place on March 22nd and 23rd. And so this year they've got a brand new format in terms of scheduling, when different clubs are going to enter the tournament. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see the return of the U.S. Open Cup. This is a chance for the little guys in U.S. soccer to make a name for themselves. And as we saw the last time out, 2 USL championship clubs did make it all the way to the semifinals. And so super excited for the return of this. And I can't wait to see what happens once this all gets kicked off.
I'm going to pull an RJ Montano from year one here and say, I don't really care this year. We had our magical run the first time, and now if we lost in the first round, I wouldn't be completely upset about it because I really want a trophy in the league this year. And if we can do both, make a deep run and get a trophy, then great. But with this year's schedule already being a little more compact than usual and adding more games that way, I don't know, just makes me nervous. And it doesn't help that our managers have always wanted smaller rosters. So we'll see.
Earl or Carlos, how do you guys feel about it? Do you have you have feelings one way or the other? Is this something that you look forward to?
I don't have any comment on it. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't like the Open Cup, but I'm not gonna say I love it. I love it because it gives us more media coverage and more things to talk about here, especially if you joined us the last time, we were talking about all kinds of stupid shenanigans like Jacob's forehead. Pretty much revolved around that as he taps his forehead on his mic. But I'm not gonna say I hate it because I'm not gonna say I love it because obviously it does get tired. Jacob, it just makes it look worse, especially when you have a receding hairline like LeBron James. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or wherever the heck you watch these days, Jacob officially looks homeless, and now he officially has become one of the Fort Sumnerans. Sorry, Jacob. God knows I love you. So back to what I was saying. I digress a whole lot. Yeah. So Carlos, when your mom listens to this or watches this,
I feel bad for any family that's watching right now.
this is why they keep coming back, because they listen to my nonsense. But like I was saying, I don't like it because obviously it gets us more tired during the season and we start slumping. So I'm on both sides of the fence. So I'm pretty much sitting on a picket fence with both legs on the other side.
All right.
Don't ask me why it's a picket fence.
Oh, here we go. Bring
Good
it back
call.
the paper there.
Good call.
Yes.
Good call.
That's all I'm saying, and maybe, a fan of a small market ball club has me in this certain mindset of it's fun to see the little guys succeed. And being able to possibly host this year is I think a great option. Because the Isotopes was opening days April 12th. We come in April 5th, 6th, 7th, one of those days. If we are one of the clubs that, of course, announced, I doubt we're not going to be one of the clubs. Being able to finally host something other than a regular season match at Isotopes Park will be phenomenal, and it gives us a chance to go see another club. Forward Madison played El Paso a few years ago in El Paso, which
and beat them.
Always good to see them fall. I guess the goal is and this is thinking way in the box, but would be the first USL club to win an American double, win the US Open Cup and win the cup in the USL Championship. That would be a dream come true, and of course it didn't end very well in Minneapolis when we went, but it's the beating the Colorado Rapids, beating FC Dallas. It's those memories that we really hang on to. Hey,
hold on. You missed one. We also beat Phoenix.
We also did beat Phoenix. And we did beat Springs too. Yes. Oh my God, beating Phoenix was amazing. Again, we want Goliath. It's again, maybe it's just being a fan of a small market club that I love the little guy, putting up a big fight, and I love the U.S. Open Cup. Now, whether it starts becoming, because we saw it last time where we had the cup magic, but we didn't quite have the regular season magic. And after that match in Denver, where we were one in the table, we dropped to 5th, 6th, 7th. Once the Cardiff City game hit, where we drew at University Stadium, I felt like we came back very well after that. Oh my God. But yeah, I'm always pro Open Cup. It's always fun to see little teams like, what was the Orange County FC a few years ago that we want Madison. I don't know. The refs may be on this side.
The way they look, we do have a chance.
The way they looked against Arsenal, we may have a chance. We should have won that freaking match, but we got robbed.
Well, not to be outdone over the break, the USL Championship announced the 2022 championship season format. We are returning to 2 conferences, guys. I'm sure you saw the announcements out there. Back to East-West. No more of this divisional stuff. No more El Paso, Colorado Real Monarchs 4 times a season. Thank God for that. From a media from a media standpoint, I hated writing about these guys 4 times a season just because by the end of the year I had nothing else to say. And so glad we're going back to this format. We do see the introduction of Monterey Bay and Detroit City FC this season. Back at 34-game season, home and away for everyone. And then we get, I believe it's an additional 8 matches. I think it was 8 or 10.
So for the Western Conference, we have 10 extra matches after we play everybody else. 2 of those will be against a Western Conference opponents, 1 home and 1 away, and then 8 of them will be against Eastern Conference opponents, 4 home and 4 away.
Yes.
What I'm not sure about is if it's like the same. So like the Western Conference opponent, if it's one opponent and we play them again here and there, or if it's 2 separate opponents that we play one over there and one over here.
I'd be
And
okay
then-
with a home and away against someone.
That's kind of what I would prefer. And I think the Eastern Conference I'd prefer a home and away too. Play 4 different Eastern Conference opponents.
Yeah.
Once here and once there. But I have a feeling it's probably going to be 8 different opponents, and scattered out kind of like it was last season when we played the Eastern Conference. But I'm just happy we're playing some Eastern Conference teams in the regular season, and we get to see kind of how they stack up against each other, instead of just seeing the final.
Yeah, that was one change that I was happy that they're continuing next season. I love seeing the intra-conference matchups. I love seeing these different teams. We had some great opportunities last season to talk to the guys from Too Loud Adams and some other folks ahead of stuff. But yeah, like I'm excited for it. And Tyler, we got a celebrity in the chat here tonight. Tyler Ortega, you guys know, play-by-play announcer for New Mexico United, in the chat tonight. Tyler, thank you so much for hopping in. Can't say much. It was going to be awesome against the East. We've heard rumors. We've heard some things. We're looking forward to it, and I cannot wait to see what the schedule has out there. So before we talk about the rest of the announcement from the USL Championship regarding the schedules, if you had to pick some, so we talked about potential home and away against the Eastern Conference teams. If you had to pick 4 teams from the Eastern Conference to do a home and away series with, who would you want? Carlos, let's start with you.
Well, Devin Kerr kind of spilt the beans on this one with Pittsburgh. Definitely, the black and yellow, and my hatred for Pittsburgh as a Raider fan, that would be a nice one. Let's welcome the new kids on the block in Detroit City FC, whose fans are already extremely toxic on Facebook to USL fans. So would love to beat them. Tulsa, I love Tulsa FC and their supporters group there in Tulsa. That just like a right fit, being close, it kind of cuts down on the travel. But let's get Tampa Bay in here, baby. Let's get the Rowdies in here. I would love. I mean, you saw what our academy did at All Lang. Let's do that over there too.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. We got some comments up in the chat. We got Hartford. There's a suggestion. That could be fun. That could be a lot of fun. Earl, who's on your wish list?
Let me see which teams are there. Any. But hey, did you know that Disneyland was opened in 1955 and Tomorrowland was designed to look like a year in the distant future, which was 1986?
All right.
Phenomenal.
Another suggestion over in the chat: New Jersey Red Bulls too. There you go. Jacob, if you had to pick a club, who do you want to see next year?
Kind of like Carlos. I want the big dogs. I want Lou City. I want Pittsburgh. I want Tampa Bay, and the fourth. The fourth can be whoever at this point. Maybe Birmingham. I'd like to see Nico Brett go up against his both of his former clubs there in Pittsburgh and then Birmingham. That would be a fun game.
I'm kind of biased when I look at this, and I would love to see us take on Atlanta United. Just because obviously I'm from Atlanta, I would love to see that happen. I think Detroit City would be a fun matchup to see next season. Miami might be fun to go, and then Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, any of those clubs really, it would be a lot of fun to see, no matter who we get. Just because this is new for the USL. The inter-conference matchups is something I want to keep seeing happening. So,
one team, I know we only were able to pick 4, but there was one that I wanted, and it's funny to some USL fans, but to the 3 of us that were on the pitch that night, I really want to play Loudoun United again.
Yeah,
that was one of the most frustrating and craziest matches with 10 minutes of extra time. I would love just to stick it to them and their stupid goalkeeper.
A rematch with Loudoun would be interesting.
I don't even think he was his goalkeeper after, I think 3 games after ours, I think he was gone. So, but yeah, That was such an annoying game. I was that was your first time on the field, was it not?
That was my first time on the field, and we got yelled at going off the field too. Remember that?
Yeah, we got cussed out. That was fun. Just because we were wearing the same
man.
color as the refs. That was good times.
So looking, go ahead.
If you endured that, Carlos, and you still want to be involved in sports broadcasting, then I think you'll do just
fit
fine.
right in.
I'm still just out there.
Going back to the announcement from USL Championship, the basics of the playoff format have already been released as well. At the conclusion of the regular season, the top 7 teams from each conference who will reach the playoffs. The number 1 seed does get a bye in the first round, and then the then the bracket will be reseeded following the conference quarterfinals. So, I mean, this is in itself is interesting. It's a little bit of a difference from formats in the past few seasons. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's do you prefer rewarding the number 1 overall seeds this way, or do you think it's just you should just go top 8 and just play it?
Sorry, the chat was entertaining. No, I really like this because, for one, there's only 13 teams in the Western Conference, so already more than half of the teams are making it to the playoffs, and that feels like too much for me. But at least in the Eastern Conference, you have 14 teams, so it's exactly half. I think winning the league should account for something. It's something that fantasy football drives me nuts because you play 13 weeks to try to do something, and then if you lose in the first round, you're out the money, and it kind of sucks. So I like that number 1 seed being rewarded, and I think this is the fairest way to do it with the amount of teams that we have currently. So I'm good with it.
What kind of matchups do you guys think that we see out of this? I know, maybe this is a way too early prediction, but what's one potential interesting matchup that we could see at the end of this?
In the championship?
In the championship, yeah.
Interesting. The possibilities are endless. It could be. I'd love to see us in Tampa. Us in Louisville would be fun. I don't know.
Oh, Tyler Ortega. You just have to wait to see. Jacob had asked him a question over in the chat. Sorry, fellas, worth the wait, though. I might have heard a correct guess from you guys at some point as far as opponents, though. So
we named like the whole Eastern Conference, Tyler. What the
heck? We've also been joined over in the chat by the one and only David Carl. David, thank you so much for being here this evening and popping over in the chat with us. And we got some fantasy feels going on here. Bro, I feel you about the fantasy.
It sucks. Fantasy football is the dumbest thing ever invented, and we keep going back to it every year. I'm like, yeah, here's some money that I'm not gonna see again because what
you're a Tottenham fan. What do you expect? It happens to you every year.
That is okay. First of all, I'm a new Tottenham fan, so I don't have quite the heartbreak with them that everybody else does. But if Steve Nash can love Tottenham, then so can I, and I appreciate that.
It's okay. Going back to the fantasy football, thank you, Antonio Brown, for screwing me over in the championship. And
good night, Tyler.
Good night, Tyler. It's past my bedtime.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Your bedtime's 4:00, Earl. Shut up.
I know, and it's way past my bedtime. But yet here I am. Tyler, I enjoy you every time that you come in. But anyways, back to my digressions.
Nobody cares. I don't want to talk about AB. I do not want to talk about him.
Yeah, I don't either because he screwed me over.
Exactly, Carl. David Carl. Of course I do. Because everybody does. You have a 10-team league. Everybody but one is going to lose. And I finished second and third and luckily got my money back in both leagues. But I was the number 1 seed in one of my leagues. And does it get me anything? No. It gets me nothing. I still had to play 3 matches to try to win money. It's stupid.
FABs are absolutely allowed. Where's Harry Kane, huh? It's probably with Spider-Man.
How dare you ruin a very good movie with a Harry Kane name?
Oh man. All right. F's in the chat. There you go. Absolutely. Thank you, David, for that. All right, guys. So much fun tonight. I appreciate
feel like
everyone
we've
hopping
lost
over in the
control.
chat. We have not lost control. Not yet. This is a lot of fun.
This is
man.
calm for us, Earl.
Okay.
This is in no.
Nope.
Oh,
No.
oh God.
No.
Jacob fast on the mute button there. So let's get right into it. I know Earl's got an out tonight, so let's get into it, guys. The New Mexico United news and notes for the past couple weeks. First thing that happened. Oh my!
Whoa.
Earthquake.
We almost
I
lost
apologize.
that
now,
house.
now we've lost control. We've officially lost control now.
I apologize for that. So over the past couple weeks, New Mexico United has announced several new signings to the club for the 2022 season. First one that came out was Justin Portillo. That was announced back in around December 20th, December 20th, December 21st. He was signed to the roster ahead of 2022, joining from Charleston Battery. I believe that's where he was last. So Justin.
No, RSL.
RSL, that's right. He was with RSL. He played with Charleston Battery at the same time that Zach Prince was there. So they are familiar with each other. And before we give thoughts on these, we'll go ahead and run through all the announcements real quick, and then we'll talk about them. Next up came the signing of and David, help me if I pronounce his name wrong. Carl Santi. He came in signing from the signing of the Haitian International. Added him into the club for 2022. Then United followed that up with Alexi Swahi. Sainty. Okay. Swahi. That's right. I apologize. Swahi. Then we had the signing of.
So before you carry on, a certain radio head or comical head, Alexis.
No, it is very clearly Alexi. He made that clear in the presser with him. And then we had Tabor Ataka Preston, a guy that we've seen around the Western Conference over the past few years. He got signed as well. And then, as we talked about at the top of the show, on New Year's Day, New Mexico United announced the signing of Nico Brett from Birmingham Legion, come in and play a new striker role, and then the signing of veteran midfielder Will Seymour on the 2nd. So, guys, it's been a busy couple of weeks. We got 6 brand new signings.
There was also 3 returnees announced since the last time we
Yes.
podcasted. Harry Swartz, Josh Suggs, and Sergio Rivas.
Yeah, so busy few weeks.
So you see how long it takes to get around Jacob's forehead? There's literally 9 signings by the time we made an orbit around his forehead.
I was gonna say I see little dots going around. I can't.
That's just the moon.
So I David's over in the chat. David's been very busy over the past couple of weeks, getting the player announcements out, getting the pressers set up, and we've had Earl, Jacob, and I have each had opportunities to hop in on some of the press conferences of the new signings and talk to Zach a little bit, and so I mean, we hadn't really heard too much from the club ahead of these signings. Like we had the guys coming back, and a couple releases that had happened, and I mean. Did you expect the club to announce 6 signings over the course of 2 weeks? I should say new signings over the course of 2 weeks. And, how did you feel with the quality of the players that have been brought in so far? Carlos, Earl, either one of you guys want to take that one to begin with?
It's
Go ahead, Carlos.
It was a busy 6 weeks trying to figure out who the heck was in those videos. I'll tell you, there was a lot of conversations going on who do you think it is, finding different clips. It is 6 huge signings. It's not a little, this guy's coming fresh out of college. He's done this or he's done this. And
If you're not with us here on the live stream, if you're just listening to the podcast, NM Ultra is the percentage of Jacob's face: 2% nose, 1% lips, 3% eyes, 94% forehead.
But the qualities of the signings are, and Elvis has left the building. Oh, sorry, Elvis actually had though. That's the difference.
He's no longer
but
a buck.
he's no longer a buck.
Wait, he didn't take his clothes off though.
Yeah, I know. He didn't dance around. Or did you go to a Brooklyn? You might be at a Brooklyn Nets game right now. But the quality of the signings have been huge signings. And for Jesus Morales, I do think this squad is more elite than it is last year. It is a more attacking club than we had last year. That was a problem that many of us had. Oh man! So it's the Bucks cut you while you were gone. Sorry. The problem we had last year for sure was putting the ball in the back of the net. That was many 1-1 draws. Tacoma comes to mind. That Sunday afternoon, was it 0-0 or I can't quite remember, but very low score the entire season. But now you got a squad that can really just strike it from there, really from any position. It's a huge improvement. I would love to see Austin Yearwood and Cello back, and Michael. Yes.
To that comment real quick, Earl, sorry.
Go ahead.
To this comment here, NM Ultras, I can confirm that at least one of those contracts is being worked on. So I can't say any more than that.
Yeah, confidentialities. So anyways, so to kind of NM Ultras, where he got that hat is at the team store, which you can find on the corner of Central and Carlisle. I believe they open at 10 o'clock.
I was about to mute you, Earl, but you actually came in with a genuine answer for
I was waiting,
and I appreciated that.
Yeah, so if you're looking for that hat that Jacob's wearing, and also that jersey, well, that's a limited edition because that's like 2 years old. My check is in the mail, thank God, because that was an unsponsored free agent part right there. I am looking for a new job. So if you're looking for any of this New Mexico United merchandise, like the flags back here,
some of them, anyways,
the hoodie,
some of them,
the
hoodie that the captain's wearing, and the forehead cover that Jacob's wearing, you all find it right there on the corner of Central and Carlisle. Anyways, back to the show. So all the signings, especially the midfield signings, made us a better team than what we were last year. With the departure of,
I don't have a forehead.
I just can't do it. So with the departure of one certain 3-lettered person, our club is just, even without any of the signings, our club is so much better. And David, I'm so sorry that this is happening right now, but it's not a hidden secret that I had a distaste for someone on the club last year and year before. But yeah, so with the departure of that one and then the new signings to replace that one, yeah, I think we're miles ahead of what we were last year for sure already.
Yeah, I mean, they've already touched on it some, but I didn't expect. We go back to last episode, and I think all of us were very anxious and concerned that nobody had been signed that was outside of the club, and then all of a sudden they hit you 6 times since we've recorded last. It's a very welcome feeling because I wasn't sure how this offseason was going to go. I wasn't sure with Troy leaving and just the stadium not being built. I didn't know what was going to happen. So it's good to see the quality that we've brought in, and and I think we're still a few pieces away. I think as New Mexico Ultras said, Yearwood. I think Yearwood's a huge piece that we need to bring back. And I think Cello would be fantastic. He was great on free kicks and set pieces, and can just put the ball in a tee for people inside the box. And I think that was something we definitely missed in year 1 and year 2. So it was nice to have that last year, and I would definitely like to see it again this year. But I remember feeling like this last year. I was very excited by several of the signings last year. So part of me wants to like rein it back a little bit, but then I look at these guys, and I actually know most of these guys, and have seen them play and remember them, not just looking up highlights, but remember them. Now that's not all of them, but several of them, and yeah, I feel like this is going to be a special season. It has the potential to be a special season.
So I'm going to follow up with that
is
too,
true,
because
David.
I remember myself last year around this time asking you two how much Coach Troy's soul costed to sign all these strikers for all these goals. And then obviously
And then we got nothing.
definitely bit the bullet, and that one did not age well.
1-0 to Mountain.
Yeah, that one did not age well at all. So I'm not going to make any kind of stupid comments like that. That was the old me. This is the new me, the older me.
You're still barely legal to drink, so
I know. That's why it's way past my bedtime. But yeah, so I'm not gonna make any comments like that, because obviously I had high expectations last year, and not saying that I was disappointed, but my comments kind of let me down.
So when I look at the signings this offseason compared to last year, and I want to address this comment here from Jesus, not to bash a team that I love, but we seemed excited for last year's signings and fell short. That's something that every club is going to address at some point. You're going to hit, you're going to miss. We were excited going into last year because Jacob and I, especially, we had chances to go down to Mesa del Sol and see the team in preseason, and we got to see them, and Earl did too, I think once or twice. And so I don't know what Earl's doing. Earl's dying apparently. But we had opportunities to go down there and talk to the club and see them in preseason and kind of get a feel for how we thought things were going to play, how we thought the team was going to play, and how the formation was going to work. And so with Brian Brown especially, we saw him as a guy that could kind of spell Devin. I think that was kind of our opinion of him. He could come in, a guy who can score. He just ended up not fitting the system very well. And as excited as we were, you're going to have stuff like that happen. But when you look at the signings this year, and obviously last year you can't account for injuries. You can't account for Armando tearing his ACL, Harry's sports hernia, Sam with the fibular fracture. You can't account for that kind of stuff. So there was a lot that went into us falling short last year. And we talked to Troy a lot after matches, and if that ball is 1 inch the other way, some nights we get a bounce a certain way, then we win some of these games that we draw instead of losing. And so coming into this season, you look at it and you say, okay, we've got a good core of guys coming back already. And now you look at these signings, you've got a dynamic forward in Nico, a guy who is seventh all time in the USL in scoring already in his career. You've got Tabor Ataka Preston, who's coming in. He's a pacey, dynamic winger who can play in a center forward role if we need him to. You've got Bees coming back. You've got Suggs. You've got Rivas. You've got all these pieces coming back that understand how to play the system that we've been playing. And then you see the evolution of players in these roles. Now, I love Daniel Bruce. I love Josh Suggs. But when you have a guy like Tabor running off the left wing, he's got a hell of a lot more pace than Josh does. He's, I feel he's a lot more creative than Josh is. And that's not to say that Suggsy isn't one of our best players. Suggsy's incredible. He does a lot of good things on the pitch. But you've got guys that coming in this year that are proven dynamic playmakers. And, you know, and Will's another guy, very underrated guy in terms of stats and goals and things like that. But that's not what he does. He's going to drop in there. He's going to control midfield. You know, if you watch some of his highlights, you know, I'll throw a link up in the chat. Will is a fantastic midfielder. You know, Alexi is a fantastic defender. And so we've got all these pieces that look like they're going to come together very well. And, you know, unfortunately, we're still a couple months away from seeing it actually happen instead of just talking about it on paper.
Yeah, I think one big thing that sticks out to me as far as looking at last year's offseason and the signings that we brought in and being excited about them, one of if not the biggest difference between last offseason and this offseason is that we still have Chris Wehan. You know, going into last offseason, we were excited, but one of the big question marks we had was, you know, we lost our MVP. We lost the guy that had been pulling the strings for the first two seasons, and you could see through the first half of last season that did not go well. And then so we bring him back and we sign him to another year after this one, I believe, and he opened up so much last year for us. And so between that and then, look, I got it wrong. I thought for sure Brian Brown was going to come in and be that goal scorer that we all knew we needed, but didn't know where it was going to come from. And I called him a Golden Boot contender. I said he was going to be our team MVP. Look, I was about as far off as you could be on a prediction. And so I'm not going to say anything about Nico Brett because I don't want to curse that. But
I know exactly how far off you were.
I was very far off. Don't even. No.
Walsh's goal was close to making it in.
Okay. I got the mute button on for Earl at least. Carlos, I
okay.
couldn't get to both mute buttons, but I could at least get to Earl's. So David brings up an interesting comment there. You popped it up there a little bit ago, but the formation that Zach might prefer, it depends on what they do with Yearwood for me, but I could definitely see going back to the first year when we were in a 4-4-2 more often, or something along those lines. It's going to be fun to see, and I just think we have a lot of flexibility and a lot of control in the midfield, which last year we did not have because of a certain name that I won't say because David's in the chat. But I think we kind of addressed that in a major way this year. And then you throw in guys like Tabor and Nico, and it's exciting to see what they can do with Wehan. I wish we had a full season of Moreno, but maybe him being out and being able to get healthy, and then not coming in for the whole season, but just half the season, he can be fresh and kind of give us a spark in that second half and lead us to do some different things offensively. And who knows, it could play into our hand, him coming in the middle of the season.
So the good thing for us, thankfully, we have a talking whiteboard that we could draw all this up on.
Oh, man.
Okay, David, we don't like Juan Pablo Guzman, and I want to punch Earl in the face if we're being uncensored right now. But
and to David's point here, this is something that we've talked about on the show before. You know, yes, we are associated with the club. We cover the club. They give us access to the players and coaches. Carlos is not. But we've always been able to come on the show and, you know, talk about the positives, talk about the negatives, and be critical. Which, you know, we've had these conversations, you know, over the past several months, you know, especially when it comes to the hashtag Troy out and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, while, you know, we have the ability to come out here and say these things, and the club doesn't like stop us from from doing it, which is fantastic, because I know other people that can't say things like that. So, Carlos, I want to ask you, and something I've asked the guys in the past. We know that Christian Nava signed for next season. How much of an impact do you think he makes in 2022? Does he get more than a spot appearance, or is he still going to be one of those guys who gets in the 18 every fourth or fifth week?
Sorry, I'll answer. I think I gotta stay away from the camera. The glare coming off. I don't know if you guys seen the original SpongeBob movie, but when the King Neptune takes off his crown, everyone's yelling, "Bald, bald, bald." Anyways,
there's too old of a crowd here, Carlos. Too old of a crowd for SpongeBob references.
Hey, it was about 2005. It was about when I was born. So yeah, almost 18 years ago. How about that one?
Exactly.
That's right. It was Sweet Victory.
Sweet. That is a best song ever. But Christian Nava, back to your point, is we see what he can do. He's megged a few people. He has some moves. Once he gets, I feel like a little more muscle on him. He is my age, so different things. We're still growing and all that. Is if he can just get a little bit more muscle on him, he can be a menace. And we saw what he did in the USL Academy playoffs, winning MVP, I believe that is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. What accolade he got? But you saw what he did there in the Academy playoffs. We've seen what he can do against professionals up at Isotopes Park. I think it was Alex Touche, pardon me, that made the start came in at San Antonio FC, but I was thinking about that one too. But he's a dynamic player. He's young, he's fresh. He's not a grizzled old veteran like some players in the USL. He's a nice new start. And it's, maybe I'm a little biased from being with the Academy, but it's great to see the Academy working. You got Christian Nava, you guys got someone like Taylor Rogers coming up soon. You got Evan Kowalski down there too. Maybe biased, a little volcano bias, but there's some special talent coming up through this Academy. And Nava's just the start. It is going to be phenomenal. And once he scores his first goal, and I hope it's at the Lab, I think we may need to stop the match. The pitch might get stormed for that one. Everyone loves him. He's our local guy. So he's, I think at the start of the year he will be, once every few matches. But I feel like he'll show his worth and his might. He'll be able to be a regular player that we're like, okay, he's coming off the bench, 96 minute, replacing XYZ. Exactly. The Academy is going to look again. Maybe I'm with them all the time. At the home games, anyways. Announcing it is beautiful to see. They're something special. So if you haven't gone and seen an Academy game either, they're free. You're supporting the future, and you can say, hey, I saw so-and-so before they made the U.S. men's national team and playing for Arsenal FC and helping them win the double again.
Why do you think we brought you on? So when you're the next John Madden, we can at least say, hey, we knew him before he was famous.
Rest in
well,
peace.
You know what? You got to get the doink and then boom, Adam, boom, right down. That's football right there, man.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to this coming season. I kind of want to go back to what David said a few minutes ago about formation with all the new signings. I was kind of playing around with it here while you guys were talking, and so I think maybe like a 4-3-2-1. I think that could be interesting. Suggs, Ryden, Swahey, Swartz across the back. You got Weehan, Sainty, and Rivas through the middle, Tabor and Bruce on your wings, and Nico up top. I think that could be really interesting. You got Brucey and Tabor bombing down the wings. You got Weehan and Rivas driving through the middle. I think that could be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with a bunch of different things. So I wouldn't be surprised if we try some things out in the early parts of the season before we actually settle on something that he really, really likes. Because, Troy did that in year one. He bounced around a few times in year one until we finally settled on that 3-back system that we used for the last 2 seasons. And so I could see Prince doing that, the same kind of thing where it takes him a little while to get it all ironed out and figured out what he wants to do. But back to the academy, now that we're just bouncing back and forth here, I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about Nava being up there in the first team more and getting some more minutes up there. And I think he's kind of an X factor there. If he can come in and be a difference maker, whether it's off the bench or starting sometimes, that could take this team to a whole new level that we might not even think about, because we saw him play and he's definitely got some skills, but like Carlos said, he's a small guy and young, but he can come in and we can see him do like a Diego Luna for El Paso and actually start getting some minutes and showing not only us but the USL in general what he kind of has, and and if he moves on to something else, then that just opens the door for some more academy kids to come up and show what they've got. And I think most people are probably underrating or overlooking the academy to an extent right now. And I sadly did not get out there to see them play aside from the preseason half. I don't know who was with me that match. Was it you, Seth?
Probably, yeah.
Where we played FC Tucson, and
yeah.
After the first preseason match, they had like another basic preseason match, and you saw people like Caitlin out there with a bunch of academy kids and teaching them while we were playing this other team that had some monsters out there. I mean, FC Tucson had some giant guys that our academy kids were handling pretty well, and I think we ended up winning that second game. And so it's hard for me when I live 2.5 hours away, but I will definitely make a note of trying to get out there for a couple academy matches this year.
So to touch on that, make sure I'm not muted.
You're not.
Okay, good. Unfortunately. So yeah, I would love to see Nava become the next Diego Luna, minus picking up a red card at the lab and watching him cry off the field.
Yeah, that was fun.
Other than that,
has I'm working.
Other than that, yeah, I would love to see Nava, especially the smaller clubs who aren't doing too good, like mid-season, where they're just trying to get through, trying to just pack it up and call it a season. I would love to see Nava come in and play with some of the more veteran players just to get more experience. So when the next person retires, such as Dev, who's on the last strings, or whoever else is on the last strings.
That was morbid.
Yeah, we all know he's at the end of his career. He's not a young buck anymore. But yeah, so to see him come in and play with some of the vets just to get more experience and more teaching moments or teachable moments, that would be incredible. I would love to see that.
Yeah, again, it's there's still a lot up in the air. We've got all these signings coming in. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the academy over the next couple of years, especially since the club did bring in a new academy director here just a few weeks ago, and so it's going to be real interesting. New head gaffer, new head of the academy. We've got Edamar in the club now. We've got a lot. The club's got a lot going on, and so I think it's going to be real interesting to watch and see what happens over the next couple months. And then once preseason starts and kind of get an idea of what we might see on the pitch. And so, yeah, it's just, there's so much excitement to look forward to this year. So many things that could be positive after the way last season ended. Oops, there goes my camera again. So I'm gonna throw this out there, and I know since David's in the chat, David, I know it's normally Pete that does all the leaking, but do you have any leaks that you can give us tonight that we can share live here on the air? And if not, that's perfectly okay. But yeah,
NASA has officially recognized Jacob's forehead as a planet. I think that's a leak. Adam Pluto in Mexico. Adam Pluto.
If you had to pick one of the new players as your player to watch this season, who would you go with? Like, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact just from what we see on paper right now? If you had to pick one,
I mean, I'm going to go first so I can get the obvious guy, and for me, it's Nico Brett. And yeah, my reasons are pretty obvious. He, like you said, he's 7th all time in the USL in goals scored. He's only 29 years old. He's coming off his best year to date with 18 goals. He's coming into a system with talent around him that I think he can thrive with. And if he doesn't score more than at least 10 goals in a 34 game season, I'll shave my head bald.
Please don't.
Thanks.
Dear God, yeah.
Thanks.
Nico,
Your forehead's
please.
already big enough. Look, your forehead's already big enough as it
Okay.
is. We don't need to extend it.
Okay, then if he, yeah, no, we'll leave it at that. I'm just gonna shut up.
So we all know, and I'll go next. Pay attention to social media on Friday. Thanks, David. Now I know what to do on Friday.
We do that anyways, David.
Yeah, if you were to look at my
Yeah, who
social
needs
media
school?
time, I'm up by like 22% because I'm constantly watching Facebook to see what kind of new tidbit New Mexico United has to put out there to tease me. So I could text Jacob and Seth. So Jacob would be like, nope, you're wrong. By the way, it's this guy. I already looked at all the freaking highlights and streams from 19 years ago. And it's this guy.
It wasn't
clip
19 years ago.
The clip
It was
matches up
3 years ago.
perfectly.
And it did.
It's like
That was a
it's like
hard
those-
one. I will give that one to you,
Look.
Jacob. That was a hard one.
it's like those highlights are like gravitationally pulled to his forehead. Anyways, carrying on.
Mega mind.
Carrying on.
Mega Mind. Oh shit.
Oh god. Anyways, so it's a slow drip of announcements. Yeah, you're slowly killing me with these slow drip of announcements. Anyways, before I get too far off
That's not
topic,
good for
I
your
think
I-
they're already gone.
I'm already done pretty much.
D.
So my new signing of the year or player to watch, new signing player to watch would probably be Itaka Preston. I probably fucked his name up terribly.
Tabor Ataka.
Tabor. My point. I was actually in that press conference afterwards, and the words that Zach had to say for him, I'm praying to God, and I'm hoping I'm not wrong this time. I'm praying to God he's the replacement that we needed last year for a certain. Oh, we're uncensored, so for a certain JPG.
Portillo is going to be his replacement, if you ask me. But I'm just happy he's needs a replacement. That's all I
I
know.
found Portillo in FIFA 22. You can actually sign him if Seth
Yeah.
went and bought FIFA 22. You can sign
I have
Justin
FIFA
Portillo.
22.
Yeah, so do I.
I still have a PS3. What the heck?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
NCAA 14 on that. That's what I'm wondering.
Right? It's okay. Jacob just plays with his forehead, just pressing buttons randomly. It's like a PS4 or something like that. Oh man. So I
Still
did
got
go
it.
ahead right away and sign Justin Portillo to my career because I'm playing manager right now. And he only has like 2 or 3 years left on that FIFA 22. So I'm hoping that's wrong. And I'm hoping I'm completely just like crazy on it. But I don't know what the crap Seth is doing and whoever made him freaking host.
Dizzy, holy freedom.
I'm trying to set something up while we're talking here, but
So I'm hoping I'm wrong on that, but I don't. So I see Justin coming in and playing a big role. I would love to see the younger person, obviously Preston. I'm not even gonna try his first 2 names. I'm just say Preston.
Tabor Ataka, which I'm gonna mess up about 18 other times this season. So cool. Thanks for that one.
Another three named person.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not like the last one. But no, so I'm hoping that we get to see more of him, especially with him being younger and probably more agile, and that's why I'm picking him as my player to watch.
Yeah, a lot of good answers there. Really are. I mean, all these players are dynamic and have.
Are you gonna let Carlos go?
Yeah, absolutely. Carlos, I'm talking. Because there's
Go ahead,
just
Steph.
so much.
Yeah,
to
no.
talk about.
I actually want to hear this. Yeah.
Like, everyone, all these players have different dynamic abilities and things that they do well on the pitch. Personally, I'm interested to see what Alexi can do. I think maybe Alexi slots in beside Kalen in the back, and I think they can make a pretty good dynamic duo there in front of goal.
He's a close second for me. I really am excited by that signing, and I think if we can bring back Yearwood, and that would mean that Alexi is more of a replacement for Schmitty. As much as I love Schmitty, I think Alexi's just at a better point in his career right now. So I think that's a pretty big upgrade for me, especially when it comes to pace. And so I think he's a huge get. And David, please tell me Yearwood's coming back. Just email us, text us. We won't say anything out loud. Just please let us know if you know, because that's driving me nuts not knowing that one. Because
Jacob's losing sleep over it.
I really am. Me and my forehead just have conversations about it all the time. And
I mean, you guys have conversations over anything about anything.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Like how's the weather?
Come on, David.
How's the weather?
It's because of Tottenham fan asked him. That's why, Jacob.
Probably, actually. Probably.
So Carlos, who's your pick on these guys?
I'm a huge theater guy. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a thespian. So I'm gonna have to go with
this is a family friendly podcast, Carlos.
thespian.
Bless you.
I know what it means. I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't, so just carry on.
So I'm gonna have to say feed me, Seymour. That was bad, horrible reference. Please tell me
That was
something.
one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life, and I listen to Jacob every week.
You don't even know what it's from, Earl. Shut up.
But
uncultured swine.
Oh man, probably
I love you,
hears Audrey too and thinks it's a dog or something.
Yeah,
and just
when you
copyright
commented, yeah, when you commented "feed me" on I think it was the Instagram post for his signing, I was like, oh, I should have thought of that. Damn it, I got so mad at myself.
I think Seymour is going to be a huge one. I mean, we saw in that video. He delivers good crosses and great chances. That's going to be huge. Tinier field at the lab, of course. So, he's going to be able to blast that downfield. And thin air, people forget that. Ball travels farther in thin air. That's why we have fun. We had fun watching the home run derby last year in Denver. It's the ball's going to travel farther, and I think that's going to play to Seymour's advantage and give guys like Nico, Weehan, Sergio, Brucey, Amando good chances on goal this year.
Yeah, this is God, man. There's been so many good takes, so many great points of view. Like it's hard to walk away from this conversation and move on to something else. And Earl, I know you're tight on time. You're good? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of good things to look forward to this season, and we are approximately 2 months away from opening day. So I mean, really, we're gonna be in the middle of the season here, not in the not too distant future. So, and there's still, I mean, the roster still looks a little bit small. I mean, is there anybody left from the 2021 season that you want to see come back? And we've had Austin mentioned. We've had pretty much
other than Austin Yearwood.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of guys, not a lot of names mentioned in the chat, and so I know Austin's one that's been pretty popular. I've seen several folks asking about Andrew Tenari. We've seen some folks express an interest in having David Najim come back for another season. So I mean, what are we looking at in terms of roster size? Do we have a few more guys coming in? Because when we talked to Zach last week, he said to expect, a handful, maybe, 2 to 3 more. So we're kind of getting at that point where we may be running out of new signings. Or do you think the club's going to surprise us with something?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you ask him? He's here.
You see the last comment that he put though? With the little smiley face with a zipper. He ain't gonna tell us
still there.
anything.
So no, I think the person I think I would love to see come back is obviously Cello, and there goes Seth's camera again. Is
I'm gonna buy you
Cello
a tripod, Seth.
Let's strike 3
just
there.
because Cello was a pivotal part in putting the ball into the box. So that's my wish, I guess. Post Christmas wish, New Year's wish would be for Cello to come back. With obviously Yearwood being a really, 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 really close second. But yeah, so that's mine is Cello.
I think
I was just gonna say, Carlos, if you don't have a list in front of you, it's Devin, Ilya, Brian Brown, Tenari, Azira, Cello, Austin, Touche, Najim, and then the 2 goalkeepers, Philip and William.
I would love to see Tinney, of course, come back. I think that if we need our bulldog, sure, he does get a little yellow card accumulation and all that fun stuff. Nothing we haven't seen before with a certain Jamaican. So he's a big presence in the middle. We already mentioned Austin Yearwood. Goodness gracious, if we had a nickel for every time we said his name, I think we'd be able to give him a 5-year contract extension.
He might want to invest in stock in this podcast.
He was so good last year that you can't ignore how big of a part he played in our success that we did have. What success we did have last year. He was. I think he should have been part of the USL Best 11. He just had a fantastic season, and if we could bring him back, that I would not be worried about the defense whatsoever.
I have a special place there for Yearwood because that banger of a goal was my first match ever capitally. So that was phenomenal. So, and my sister's favorite player is Austin Yearwood. So
I gotta correct you a little bit right there. When you said that banger of a goal is actually the goal of the year.
Yes,
so you sir are uncultured swine. Get it right.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, hold on, I'm gonna mute it. No. So yeah, Chalo Martinez, another huge one. This one, Devin Sandoval, I think, because he is getting up there in terms of athletic age. That's something I always mentioned. My mom's like, "Hey, wait a minute," where I'm like, this guy's old, and it's like Josh Donaldson, he's like 35 years old. He's past his prime. But if this ends up being Devin's last year, I would love to have him, have a farewell tour, just so we could, whether he plays, all the time or not. I would love to see him back on the squad, so that we could have a proper goodbye. Because if it was, hey, there's Coach Familetta right there. There we go, right there. There you go, Gaffer. So Devin Sandoval, definitely, so we can have a proper goodbye. I felt like last year wasn't really proper. It was just a terrible circumstance last year, with the heart condition and all that. And it's not Devin's fault, no, it's just unfortunately bad luck. And definitely, I would like to see what more Illich can do, but if he did score that goal in San Diego that had me running around a garage on a dislocated knee. So surgery on the 24th. Yeah, we're gonna go get ready for the season. So it is. I would like to see what more Illich can do, and it's Salih Muhammad as well. I think that's a name that we kind of forget a little bit. Is Solly? I would love to have Solly back.
Yeah, Salih was a huge pickup midseason this past year, and you mentioned Ilya, and Ilya is a guy that I feel like really started to hit his stride towards the end of the season. It is unfortunate that it came at the expense of Dev and Amando. Having health issues, with ACL and the blood clots, and so. But I really feel like he came on well at the end of the season, and I don't think he got enough opportunity throughout the first few months of the season to really make an impact. And so I'd love to see him come back and get another opportunity. So yeah, I mean, it's just we've got a couple months still. We're gonna keep with our off-season schedule here for the next probably month and a half. So we're not done. We're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. But one of the reasons why I was glad to have Carlos on this weekend, Coach Steve is in the chat here. We're gonna talk some runners. Runners season is underway, and they've got a match this Saturday night out at Rio Rancho Event Center. So glad you guys are here, and it's been a bit of a tough opening to the season for the runners. Carlos, you were out there this past weekend. What's your take on the runners so far, and how are they looking from your perspective out there on the pitch?
It was a very I think Coach Famoletta can attest to that. The end of the first half there at the whatever it's called now, the Rio Rancho events at the Star. It's the Star Center. Let's be honest, folks. Yeah. But it a nice little slap in the face from an Amarillo player into a runners player's face. It was something. They as Coach Famoletta said in his interview, they're a little behind than every other club because they did have a whole season off. Some clubs were playing, some were not, and it's a little rough that they wasted they didn't waste a season, but they were unfortunate enough not to play a season. It's hopeful. I think we need to get out there and support them. For New Year's Day, it was a good crowd. They play Saturday, 5:05 kickoff at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Go get your tickets on nmrunners.com. Go support a local club. They got some guys that played for the Soul. I know one of their players is actually a Rio Rancho police officer, which I think is just super cool. It's fun for the whole family. It's a lot of fun, and they are a 100% New Mexico family-based organization. I think I don't know if you guys have had Andres on the show yet, but he's a good guy to talk to, and he loves his team. I tell you that one, being down there with him during the match, he loves that squad, and there are big things coming. Let's get out there. Let's support them. If you're having your soccer withdrawals, let's go do it. I know it's a bit of a drive, and it does suck just a tad to drive all the way out there, but it's soccer, guys, and it's local soccer. A lot of fun. And, they have the new Paletha bar kits that are I love. And then they just came out with I think you guys already saw me sporting it, but the new scarves they got too this year.
Fantastic.
Came out with. They are fantastic. I have to show it a little closer, but they got the little Zia symbols on there. It's a bit of a long scarf, I'll tell you that one for sure. It's a long name, but it's a lot of fun out there. It's arena soccer. If you have not been to arena soccer, the best way I can describe it is, the little pinball soccer game that you guys have growing up, or that are at the bars or wherever, at Chuck E. Cheese for me. Yeah, that's where I've definitely seen them. But that's the perfect description of how I can describe those games. They're tough, gritty, board checking each other like hockey too. Super fast paced, a lot of fun. Mario, who's one of their players, former Albuquerque Soul player as well, New Mexico native. They had the Legendre brothers played for them. After Josh Goss's time was up with New Mexico United, he went over and played with the Runners as well. So they got a lot of local talent. Someone say hi to me. Hi. I see you in the.
There you go. Yeah.
hi
There
to
you
that
go.
person. Hello. Oh, hi, Kamora. Hello. But yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
You have a
fun as
fan?
well. I guess I have a fan.
Look,
He has more than
you-
you.
You've been
Earl.
here for an
Oh.
hour and 25 minutes. And you have more
Earl.
fans than I do.
Earl, you see the number right up there at the top with the little eyeball? How it's been floating like around 12 to 8? That's not
him.
usually the case.
No,
It's usually 2, 3, 4, maybe. So
if we're looking, it's usually like me and you watching at the same time. looking
yeah,
at the
exactly.
comments.
It's usually Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's usually in here.
Where's
Jerry and Harry.
We haven't seen him in a while. Yeah.
He's probably nervous since he talked so much crap when Troy left, and then like 2 days later, Lowry left and took 2 of their better players, and then Ketterer left. He's probably
We haven't seen
He's
Jerry
probably
since
shitting his
the
pants over there.
first week of the opening of the playoffs.
Playoffs.
We haven't seen him
yeah,
since then.
after they lost. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so you mentioned Andres. We haven't had a chance to have Andres on the show yet. We'd love to have him on.
Yeah,
so
we
we
have.
get a chance.
Oh no, never mind.
Well, no, he's popped in the chat, but so Earl, maybe we can set that up and get Andres on the show one of these weeks. But yeah,
Andres,
we
look at your phone.
all right. Well, there you go.
The Facebook thing that you sent me.
I don't know.
No, I said Andres, look at your phone.
Oh, I thought you said Carlos. I was all. Are we talking about Jim Harbaugh possibly being the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders?
No, we're not talking about that. We're not
Hot
talking
take.
about it here. Not
Hot
talking about
take.
that.
And Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams comes, and we're going to win a Super Bowl. And then my alarm goes off, and I realize that my team has only had 2 winning seasons my entire life.
Wow, that's dark. You weren't alive for their Super Bowl, were you?
I was
The Super Bowl that they lost, sorry, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There.
Yeah, don't remind me about that.
So before we go any further, Jacob and Seth, what is a good day for Mr. Andres to hop on the show?
2 weeks from now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
There you go.
David, too, by the way. That was amazing.
There you go, Andres. 2 weeks from today, whichever day that may be. I think that's the 18th?
18th. Yeah, that'd work.
I would like to propose a hashtag to Andres that I was using on Twitter. Come on, you runners! You see what I did there?
He's in.
Okay, there we go. There you go. Right here, folks. 2 weeks from tonight, we're gonna have Andres Trujillo on the show with us. Talk some
Owner
numbers
and operator.
There you go. We'll have him on the show. But yeah, like I was saying, we haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. We will in 2 weeks. We did talk to Coach Fammy a couple weeks ago ahead of the runner season, and so I haven't had a chance to get out there to see them before. I'm excited to get out this weekend. You and I will be out there. Earl, are you gonna make it?
No, I'm doing overtime.
Okay. So yeah, Carlos and I will be out there. We'll be covering the club, watching the runners play. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And Carlos,
I may be out there Saturday. I'm not complete. I do get my booster shot Saturday, so we do not know. But I do plan on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there for sure. So, for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to be out there, you've had a chance to watch them. Who was someone that the fans should keep an eye on? You talked about the Legendre brothers. I know the club released a whole bunch of names the other day of players who've been signed. David Carl, kickoff is at 5:05 on Saturday evening for the runners.
I would love to get a little like cheering group out there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
People of the curse. I don't know if you know. There may be beer involved. That may.
If I was not doing overtime until 7:00, I would definitely be there. But
excuses.
My job does require me to help people find work, and we're having a state rapid hire this week, and that's part of it.
There you go. So I know Nick Legendre is on the roster this season. Who did you see out there last weekend that impressed you, Carlos? And that fans should keep an eye on this weekend.
Don't know. Can't remember the fellow's name, but their starting goalkeeper had some phenomenal saves throughout the match. Like I said, it's fast paced. So yeah, the score did not reflect how good of a game it actually was, unfortunately. But he's a promising player. Like I said, Mario as well is another player we should fans should keep an eye on when they head out to the games. again, former Albuquerque Soul player. He's all over. Yes, Nate Yeager, that's his name. Oh my goodness gracious, that man is quick. He had some great saves in that match. Mario, again, another Albuquerque Soul product. Fantastic. It's good to see live sports back at the Star Center because really, and they use the old soccer horn there. You know what? Maybe I did intentionally forget his name because he is a Ram. So, go Hawks. Woo. So, but yeah,
Look, you're about to get us canceled. Don't be starting that crap here.
But yeah, Nate Yeager is definitely a person to keep your eye on when he is in goal. I know Casey Garcon, their former keeper, is on loan to Colorado Inferno, I believe, is the club Casey's with at the moment. So, and I know we have them in a few weeks as well.
February 5th.
February 5th. I will not be at that game. That is post surgery time. That is time that Carlos will disappear into realms of YouTube.
Well, luckily for you, if you cannot make it to the match, you can always watch them on their Facebook page. They are doing New Mexico Runners. They do live stream every game, even if it's away. We also share it on our page here. So if you cannot find it on their Facebook page, just look for us and we can get you there too.
Highly recommend. Yeah, tickets aren't too expensive. That's not going to eat you out of house at home like I do with my mother. Got to growing teenage boy here. So it's cheap family fun. It's a good product on the field. Get to go see Coach Famoletta, a Hall of Famer, Coach Steve Famoletta out there, directing his men into battle. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Well, sorry, Carlos. I think I cut you off there. What were you saying?
They also have a bouncy house there too. If you want to have your birthday there or a corporate event, please contact the Runners. They'll get you guys in there for sure.
There we go. That's what we're gonna do this summer, guys. The Somos Moss retreat out to the Rear Rancher Event Center. We'll go use the bouncy house. Use some trust falls or something.
Promise?
Yeah, I mean, all I have to do is not pay the website bill this year. So,
will you sign my waiver so I can get in the Jumpy House?
Yeah, since your parents won't do it for you. All right, guys, we've had so much fun tonight. It's been a fantastic way to kick off the season. Oh man,
because you tear your knees and stuff every time you get in those things. So let's keep you out of the Jumpy Houses so we can have you on the sidelines.
Come on down and jump.
Oh yeah, like I said, this has been a fantastic start to the 2022 season of shows for us. We're again, like I said, about 2 months away from opening day for New Mexico United. Run Under season is already underway. Go check them out, NewMexicoRunners.com. We got Andres and Coach Steve here in the chat. So guys, go check them out. Buy some tickets. Get out, support local soccer. These are all local guys. Stay tuned. 2 weeks, we will be back. We're gonna have Andres Trujillo on the show. And for everyone hanging out here in the chat, man, you guys have been fantastic tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here and throwing the questions and comments up in the chat. We love having you guys here. And we know you're all here for Carlos, and we appreciate that. But we hope you're back with us again here in 2 weeks. Jacob, get us out of here, man.
Hold on. Before we log off.
Oh,
one more thing.
Whoa.
Sorry. I'm getting kicked off.
I
would like to wish a happy 110th birthday on January 6th to the state of New Mexico. 110 years ago, January 6, 1912, President Taft finally got us back and got us into the Union. So happy birthday, New Mexico. Happy 110th.
Jacob, why do you hate the Ultras? I need to know this.
I don't hate him at all. Aaron, that for you two that might not know, Aaron Reeder, was prominent in the chat there for quite a while. That's him. So it's all in good fun. I let it bounce off the forehead and doesn't bother me at all.
Doesn't everything bounce off your forehead though?
Exactly.
Sunlight, satellites.
Yeah, exactly.
Radar.
Anyways,
is that why you don't get speeding tickets?
God damn it.
That's why his Wi-Fi is always so good.
No, actually, my Wi-Fi is not great.
Because it bounces off your forehead.
Are we done? Are we done here?
I don't know. Are we?
Seth basically did my job, so I don't really know why I need to speak now. But no, Carlos, thanks so much, man.
Always a pleasure.
It was a great year last year. The couple times that you were able to hang out with me and Earl, or I think there was one that was just me on the field, and it was great times. And you know, we talked about getting you on several times. God damn it, Earl. I just appreciate you coming on, and glad we could make it work finally. And who knows? We'll probably be chatting later this week if this new player has a sound clip that I can try to comb through the YouTube
We'll be
archives
chatting
to
Friday,
find.
apparently.
Yeah, Friday. So maybe Thursday. Maybe the Friday is the announcement. So maybe Thursday is the clip. I don't know, but the chat was crazy tonight. I love it when it's like that. It's so much fun. It reminded me of the. Do you remember the Twitch night that the chat went crazy with all the random people in there? But these are all people that we know and we love. They're all part of the Somos Niños family, and it was, as Seth said, just a great start to the first show of 2022, and with the signings that we've had, and just the plans that we might have coming down the future. I'm looking forward to 2022 and
Timeout.
And
Big timeout. It's nothing to do with your forehead. Hey, Aaron in the chat. If it's okay with Jacob and Seth, let's shoot for the first.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
Okay. So yeah, Earl is fantastic at just ruining everybody's flow. And I appreciate that from Earl. That's why we love him. That's why he's here for some reason. But no,
Because your forehead keeps attracting me here.
Exactly. It's like a bug light.
Gravitational pull.
Anyways,
So
2 weeks. 2 weeks at either 9 or 9:30. Seth will decide the day of, apparently, and we will go from there. And until then, Somos Unidos.